Give me 30 minutes. I'll show you how to win 2026. You're about to waste January the same way you wasted last year. You set big goals, feel motivated for 2 weeks, then quit by February when life gets hard. That's the pattern, right? Most people think winning requires massive discipline, perfect plans, and motivation that lasts all year. That's wrong. Winners don't change everything. They make 3 decisions in about 30 minutes that lock in progress before the year even starts. No vision boards, no affirmations, just one leverage point, one system that makes success automatic, and one form of accountability that makes quitting hurt more than continuing. In the next 30 minutes, I'll show you the exact framework that separates people who try in 2026 from people who actually win. Now, knowing this framework doesn't matter if you can't stick with it. So let's talk about the real enemy quitting. Because here's the truth no one likes to admit. You will try to quit, not today, not tomorrow, but when it gets hard around week 3 or month 2, your brain will start negotiating. And if quitting has no consequences, you will quit. Winners don't rely on self-accountability. They build external pressure. I call it the triangle of pressure. 3 layers of accountability so strong that quitting hurts more than continuing. Financial, social, structural. First, financial stakes. When quitting costs nothing, it's easy. When quitting costs money, your brain suddenly finds discipline. This isn't about gambling your future. It's about creating just enough pain that quitting feels stupid. Prepay for the gym, buy the course, hire the coach, book the equipment. The money is already gone. Now the question isn't, should I do this? It's, am I really going to waste this money? Second, social stakes. Private goals are easy to abandon. Public goals are expensive to quit. Tell people what you're doing and by when. Post a plan. Join a group where progress is visible. When quitting means explain yourself, consistency goes up. I've seen people stall for years in private, then become consistent the moment they went public. Same plan, higher stakes. Third, structural stakes, the most powerful one. This is where you lock yourself into the future. You pre-commit to actions that force execution. You book the race. You sign the client. You schedule the talk. You accept the role. Now, backing out isn't an option. I watched someone terrified of public speaking commit to a TEDx talk months in advance. They practiced because they had to, not motivation structure. Here's how you apply this today. Financial. What can you prepay for that makes quitting painful? Social. Who will you tell and where will you report progress? Structural. What future commitment can you make right now that forces action later? This is why this works. Default paths get you started. Constraints focus your energy. Accountability keeps you moving. When motivation dies, you're not trusting your future self to be disciplined. You're building a life where quitting isn't an option. You're not trapped. You're protected. And the only way out is through success. Accountability keeps you from quitting. But there's a bigger problem most people don't see, yet they're still relying on motivation to do the work. They feel excited for a week, then motivation fades. Life gets busy, and they quit. That's not failure. That's design. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. If your plan requires you to feel motivated for 365 days straight, you've already lost. Winners don't try harder. They make success easier. They design their environment so the right action becomes the default and the wrong action takes effort. I call this the default path. Here's how it works. Whatever your constraint is, look at the friction. Right now, the bad behavior is easy. The good behavior is hard. Take income. You get home tired. The couch is right there. Netflix is 1 click away. Your laptop is upstairs. Your workspace is messy. Watching TV has 0 friction. Working on your business has 12. So of course you watch TV. Not because you're lazy, but because your life is designed for it. Now redesign the default path. Laptop open. Project loaded. Phone in another room. TV remote gone. A co-working call at 7 p.m. you already committed to. Now the easiest thing to do is work. That's not discipline. That's inevitability. Same with fitness. Same with learning a skill. You're not trying to be disciplined. You're building a life where discipline isn't required. Here's the key. Willpower runs out. Systems don't. Spend 30 minutes today designing your default path, and it runs for the next 12 months. You're not hoping you'll show up in 2026. You're making showing up unavoidable. Now, here's where people still fail, even with systems. They aim that system at too many targets. They want to get in shape, build a business, improve relationships, learn new skills, fix their finances. 6 weeks later, nothing has changed. Not because they're lazy, because their energy was scattered. Winners don't think like that. They look for the one domino that knocks down all the others. This is constraint thinking. In every system, there's always one bottleneck, one limiting factor choking everything else. Fix that, and 10 problems disappear. Ignore it, and nothing else matters. So here's the constraint audit. Ask yourself one question and be brutally honest. What is the one thing that, if fixed, would make everything else easier or irrelevant? Not 3 things. 1. If it's income or money, reduces stress, increases options, and boosts confidence. If it's a health, energy changes how you show up everywhere. If it's a skill, doors open that are currently locked. If it's network access, changes your trajectory. If it's mindset, fear is sabotaging everything else. Here's a real example. I know an entrepreneur who did everything right: content, networking, product. Revenue stayed flat. The constraint wasn't effort, it was sales. Once he focused on that one thing, practice closes, fixed conversations, revenue tripled in 6 months. Another example, health. Someone tried diets, workouts, supplements, nothing stuck. The real constraint? Sleep. Fix sleep, energy returned, discipline followed, consistency became easy. That's the pattern. Your constraint is upstream of everything else. Here's how you apply this. Write down where you feel stuck. Then ask, which one of these creates the biggest domino effect? Not the easiest, not the most exciting, the most leveraged, because you don't have infinite energy. Winners respect limits and concentrate force. Most people do 100 things at 1% effort. Winners do one thing at 100%. Find your constraint, and 2026 becomes winnable. You now have the full system, not motivation, not willpower, not another fresh start, a system. First, you found your one constraint, the leverage point that makes everything else easier or irrelevant. Second, you built your default path and environment where the right action is automatic. Third, you installed a triangle of pressure accountability that makes quitting more painful than continuing. Here's the real shift most people miss. You don't need 12 months of discipline. You need 30 minutes of honest decisions. Winners don't spend a year trying to stay motivated. They spend one afternoon designing inevitability and then let the system do the work. If 2025 was about effort, 2026 is about execution. And now you know how to lock it in. If this gave you clarity, subscribe. This channel isn't just about motivation, it's about systems that actually force execution. Drop a comment with your one constraint, not your goals, your bottleneck. That's how you turn intention into momentum. And if you're done trying and ready to build a year that actually works, I'll see you in the next video.